All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeff Cordero, and if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below for more good content. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Stanislawski Onnex thumb button releases. I was super excited that these actually finally came out. They got released at the ATA, and there's a lot of hype about them because it was a combination of the Stan Perfects, the SX3, and the Shoot Off. The best features of all those releases wrapped up into one. The adjustability that I have with this, and I'm gonna go into it, I can shoot it as a 3-finger, a 2-finger, a 4-finger. I can shoot a small barrel, a big barrel, a short arm, a long arm, and I really have all of that like out of the box. I don't have to go buy extra parts. Everything that I need to customize this for myself comes with the release, which is a huge plus when you consider something like the Ultra View Hinge 2 or even the original one where you had to go buy a 4-finger bracket, a hunting bracket, a thumb peg for it. And for the $300 I spent on this and the $300 I spent on this one came with everything. This one I'd have to add more stuff to make it customized to what I wanted to shoot. And if I wanted to try different things, I had to go buy stuff, and I wasn't really about that life. This came with everything that I wanted to try, and that's one of the huge reasons why I bought it. All right, so let's talk about what comes in the box when you purchase one of these stand releases. I mentioned it came with everything, and here's what it comes with. It comes in the box, and the packaging is pretty good. There's nothing super special or over the top about it. There's a foam pad that this is attached to, and inside of this box you get your instructions, which are pretty straightforward. If you get the heavy metal version, you will get a brass polishing cloth. It comes with a 4-finger bracket. Right now I have the 3-finger bracket on it with the whale tail, but it comes with a 4-finger bracket. It also comes with a large thumb barrel, a short thumb barrel post, and the 5/64 Allen wrench that you need to do every adjustment on this. That is a huge, huge step up from some other releases. Every adjustment that you need to make on this is one 5/64 Allen. You don't have to worry about different ones. You don't have to worry about whatever, losing them, having a whole Allen pack with you. It's one Allen wrench to rule it all, to make all the adjustments on this. The adjustments that come on these releases is obviously you can change the thumb post. You can make that the shorter one. Right now I have the longer one in here. You can change the thumb barrel from a small barrel to a big barrel. That is a 5/64 Allen. And then to adjust the trigger tension, as in how heavy the trigger is going to feel on your thumb, it is this screw right here. Turning it clockwise will make the trigger heavier. Turning it counterclockwise will make the trigger lighter. And then right here at the Stan logo, right underneath the S, this is the trigger travel adjustment. Turning this screw clockwise will make the trigger travel less. Going counterclockwise will make the trigger travel longer. And that's really all the adjustments that you need for the mechanical function of this release. Right here in the bottom with this 5/64 button head, you can adjust the pitch or the angle of your extra 2-finger attachment here. This thing is heavy. So I'm gonna run you through some weights on these releases right now and the different configurations to show you how heavy these releases can be. So right now I'm gonna be going over some of the weights on these releases. First, we're gonna start with the aluminum thumb button. And this one is in the 3-finger with the long arm with the small barrel. This comes in at 3.5 ounces. And when you put the larger, heavier barrel on, it becomes 4.1 ounces. So this is already a fairly heavy release. When we go to the brass heavy metal version with the small barrel, the weight comes in at 7 ounces, which is heavy. When you put the bigger barrel on, it is now 7.6 ounces. I don't know this to be true, but this is probably one of the heaviest releases on the market. As a reference, this is the stainless steel heavy version of the Hinge version 2. This is 4.2 ounces. This is the original aluminum version of the Hinge. This one is 1.6 ounces, very light. This is the Scott Sigma. This one comes in at 3 ounces, which is also pretty light. And this was a Carter Wise choice and is now what I consider to be a knock to it. It's 3 ounces. So as you can see, these two releases, the aluminum and the brass, are already heavier than all of the other releases that I have. So looking at the aluminum version here, the operation of this release is pretty straightforward, just like most thumb barrels if you've owned one in the past. there is always a cocking mechanism, which is this on the bottom. Once you cock it, it locks the hook in, and then when you pull the thumb barrel or depress on it, it releases the locking mechanism and therefore releasing the hook on the release. Here's an example. You lock it, put it on, it is tight, pull the thumb, and it will release it. Most thumb barrels, they all have a cocking mechanism and a trigger. The cool thing that I kind of really do like about this Stan, which I kind of thought was a novelty in the past, and I've heard about it, but I didn't think it really mattered too much. They come with this, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a safe shot. You actually screw it right up here in the head of the release. And when you cock it, it will cock, and you can depress the thumb trigger, and you can hear it release, but the hook will actually not release. So it makes this release pretty much inert. And there, yeah. So that's really cool for someone like myself who does a lot of their Bowtech stuff in the house, because my range is outside. I've always just kind of had to trust myself not to press the thumb barrel on a release or crank it all the way where I could not press it hard enough. So having this being like a safety, just like a release you would get at a bow shop when they're trying to get your draw length, I think that's really cool. So the sizing on these releases, these I both got them in the large size. That seems to be just the generic size that would fit me the best, and I kind of took a gamble on that because I'd never held one of these releases or a stand release in general before I purchased one of these. I wear like a medium to a large mechanics wear glove, if that's any reference, and this feels comfortable for me. It's not overly too big, it's not too small. This is the UltraView Hinge 2, sorry. This is the Hinge 2 by UltraView. It's a riddle. I have this in a medium, and these two compared against each other, they're roughly the same size. So compared to a Scott Sigma, whatever size this is, I think Sigmas only come in one size, but whatever size this is pretty much the exact same footprint chassis. So some of the reasons why I chose to go with this Stan Onnex release. First of all, they are coming out with a 3-release line in the Onnex version. You can get it in the thumb button, which is what I have here. They offer a hinge version, and they offer just a resistance release. So I shoot a hinge. I love shooting a hinge. I've shot a thumb button. I love shooting a thumb button. They're different. They're just so different. The hook placements aren't in the same spot. One's a little longer. This UltraView has the largest hook travel from the finger bed of the release to the actual hook that I could find anywhere, and nothing really kind of matched it. John Dudley's got his thing with his Knock To It, the Too Smooth, and the Silverback, and they all kind of run off the same chassis, but they're not exactly the same chassis. What Stan has done is they have made one chassis that it's exactly the same. Doesn't matter which one of the 3 releases you're shooting, it's just the hook on the head that's slightly different. Obviously a hinge or a resistance and the mechanics on the inside of it that create that. But the actual chassis, the platform, what you're going to be holding, and the hook location is exactly the same across all 3 releases. So theoretically, I know when I shoot this Scott Sigma versus this UltraView 2, I have different anchor points, and it messes with my sight. One of them I can go all the way back to 80 yards without having to do any float. The other one, once I go past 60 yards, I have to start floating my hand or opening my jaw to create a solid anchor point. With this new Onnex release line, that's going to eliminate that from me. I can take one release, set up all my bows the same, all my knocking points are gonna be the same, all my peep sights are gonna be the same, everything's gonna be the same, whether I'm shooting a hinge, a tension, or a thumb button. That for me is a huge plus for someone who likes to change releases throughout the year depending on what I'm shooting. I like shooting a hinge all summer long. I like shooting a hinge when I'm shooting my target bow, but when it comes to hunting, I don't want to shoot a hinge. I want to shoot a thumb button. I can shoot a thumb button like a hinge, and that's what I prefer. I just feel like I have more control with the thumb button. So the fact that I can interchange these releases and shoot a hinge or shoot a thumb button and not have to worry about different anchor points or different peep heights, man, that's sold. You had me right there. They had me back in February when they released this, at the ATA show, I was in. I'd take my money. So when it comes to the fit and comfort of these releases, these Stan Onnexes for me have been absolutely awesome. I really do appreciate the width of the release. The finger beds seem to be about half flat and then half curved. So they're it's got a nice comfort feel in your hand. The whale tail for the 3-finger adds a really nice place to rest your pinky. And the 4-finger I've shot and I really like that too. It just feels super comfortable. It's almost conformed for your hand. When you slip it in, it just feels really, really comfortable. At the end of the day, it's gonna come down to a matter of personal preference, which one you wanna get. Do you wanna get the aluminum version or the heavy metal version? For me, I purchased both for the sake of making this video and for the sake of I didn't know. I went to a heavier release earlier this year and I really enjoyed it. And so I figured, you know what, I'm just going to get the heavy metal version and the aluminum, see which one I like. Whichever one I don't, I'm just gonna sell to a friend or put it up on Facebook or whatever. Really am gravitating towards this aluminum version. I know it's aluminum and it's not the heavy metal version, and I like heavy, but this aluminum light version is pretty much the same weight as this Ultra View Hinge 2, and I really enjoyed this release. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I don't dislike the heavy metal version or the brass version of this. I think it's a really cool release. It's got an awesome look to it. It's gonna patina really nice brass. That patina brass has, top notch. But this is just too heavy for me. Personally, I just not a big fan of it. So the aluminum version got the go ahead from me. So if you guys really enjoyed this video, please drop a comment down below. Let me know how much you enjoyed this video. Let me know which release you're shooting. And if you are shooting an Onnex, which one are you shooting? Are you shooting the aluminum? Are you shooting the brass? I wanna know. Maybe it'll help sway my decision on which one I keep, which one I don't. But thank you guys again for watching. Until next time, I'm Jeff Cordero, and we'll catch you on the next video.